You are now watching The Lone Blown. Blown! Yo, what's poppin', peeps? Thanks for joining us here at The Lone Blown, and today we're going to be going over Orbeetle VMAX. This is a card that kind of, it piqued my interest when it came out in Vivid Voltage a few weeks ago, and it kind of fell flat immediately after a few players tried to make it work. I mean, the biggest appeal to this card is Eerie Beam, spreading damage to all your opponent's Pokemon with an ability, and then it has very efficient attacks. I mean, it's like a stage 1 Pokemon, VMAX, like you just go from basic to stage 1. Seems like it would be cool, but it's kind of had some downfalls in that time. So the goal of this video is to kind of see if it can fit in with this current metagame, see what's going on with this card, and if you're missing any Orbeetle VMAX, if you didn't pick them up off the drop, feel free to go to PTCGO plug in code ZELASAGE5. Again, that's code ZELASAGE5. You can check it out in the description of this video. There's a link there and a written version. You can check out some of the other sponsors and the copy and pastable version of this list. So jumping into it, let's go over how this deck works. We're going to play some games, and I'll kind of give you exactly like my thoughts on the Orbeetle VMAX deck. So starting off here, we have Snorlax with Gormandize. The whole goal of this deck here is to kind of vibe out, use Eerie Beam, send up Pokemon like Snorlax or Lily's Pokédoll. Snorlax is kind of like Tropical Beach as an ability, and that's all we're really using it for. We only play 2 copies because we could search it out with Capture Energy, we could search it out with Quick Ball, so it's really not that big of a deal. This deck's taking a slow approach to Pokemon, but really you want to own it on the turns where you're trying to do some stuff. We got 4 of the Orbeetle V, the new promo card that just released. If you don't have this one, there is the other copy, this one right here, or if you have the full art one, however it works out. All the same card. Orbeetle V, very similar attack to Orbeetle VMAX. Don't sleep on Strafe. Mysterious Wave, if you really need to do it for, if you don't get the VMAX, don't miss out on using the Mysterious Wave. Then there's G-Max Wave, 50 plus 50 for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Count in 50s, make sure that you're doing the damage correctly with Eerie Beam, and try to plan those OHKOs or stopping your opponents. We have a copy of Mimikyu here because Mewtwo and Mew has kind of been popping up all over. We could stop their abilities, but Oricorio GX is also pretty strong right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if Shadowbox could stop a few other random things, like maybe even Heatran GX. So keep your eyes peeled for opportunities to use it. Mr. Mime, I felt like, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this, but it might help out against the Baby Blacephalon matchup. Any deck that plays Scoopumnet, you can't return them to your opponent's hand. So things that would play Jirachi, I mean, basically any deck that plays Scoopumnet, this would put us in a really good position. Lily's Pokédoll is a great Pokemon to just kind of strafe into, retreat into, switch into, however you're getting into it, just so that your opponent's not drawing any prize cards. You can use this if your opponent doesn't attack it, you can put it under your deck, use your Eerie Beam, and kind of go over there. Quick Ball is pretty standard card in most decks. Reset Stamp, really want to hurt our opponent's hand so we can get more turns out of the game. Switch allows us to bounce around through our Pokemon, allowing us to use multiple Eerie Beam per turn. A couple copies of Tag Call. Tag Call is going to be able to search out Cynthia and Caitlin, which we have 2 copies. Guzma, which will allow us to grab all of our cool cards, and Mallow Lana, which is another kind of switch card. Tool Scrapper here. You never know when your opponent's going to have something like Metal Goggles in play, or maybe an Air Balloon, something in general. Tool Scrapper seems like a pretty useful card in here, but it's something that I could consider us, we might be able to cut that one. Turffield, pretty no-brainer stadium. We can search out our Orbeetle VMAX pretty easily. That's why we don't need to play any copies of Evolution Incense or anything like that. It allows us to bump our opponent's stadiums, like Giant Hearth and stuff like that. Bird Keeper, you could switch your active, so you could chain it up to use multiple Eerie Beam per turn, and then draw some cards. Boss Orders, we want to bring up whatever we want. Maybe we could trap something of active, Reset Stamp our opponent, use Eerie Beam a few times. We got Cynthia Caitlin, we can get back some of our supporters. Searchable with Tag Call, drawing cards. Pretty simple inclusion in this deck. Guzma, we can search for our Turffield, we can search for all of our special energies. We have U-Turn Board as a Pokemon tool card, so this could be really helpful off a Tag Call if we're specifically looking for something. Don't Sleep that you can grab capture energy to grab out a Snorlax, so you could use Gourmandise, so this is kind of like a draw card in this case. We also have Mallow Lana, we could heal, switch, whatever we need to do, searchable with Tag Call. 4 copies of Marnie, really not a Professor's Research deck here. We want to just continuously hurt our opponent's hand, chain them with the Marnie. U-turn board allows us to retreat, and if they knock out that Pokemon, or if this card gets discarded from play, I should say, it goes into our hands, which means we could just chain it on the Orbeetle VMAX, usually the best Pokemon. Put there, Aromatic Grass Energy stops special conditions. You wouldn't think that special conditions are important, but Raichu Alolan Raichu GX is played in both Pika Rom and Mew 3 Lightning. So those decks really just try to go for a Tandem Shock on VMAX Pokemon. This stops them from using the Tandem Shock and give us a much better matchup. Capture Energy allows us to grab out our Orbeetles, our Snorlax, maybe even a Mimikyu or a Mr. Mime depending on the matchup. Weakness Guard is just really for the Centiskorch matchup. The Baby Blacephalon matchup would be very helpful against both of those decks. And then we got one copy of Grass Energy just to have one. Maybe our opponent plays Viridian Forest, but that's kind of our extra energy. We don't really need to focus too much on attacking here. Eerie Beam is really the main strategy of this deck, but when we do attack, we want to plan our attacks very carefully so that we can get those knockouts. So basically, this deck loses to ADPization in my mind. Just probably that deck is too quick for it. We don't have enough oomph in this deck to really get around it. We also have probably a tough time against fire-type decks, but when we're playing against Pikarom decks, they do require a lot of energies. We can stop their abilities if they do play Mewtwo and Mew GX. Lightning Mewtwo, Welder Mewtwo would be fairly okay matchups. Colossal would be a good matchup. I can only imagine that Control decks would be a good matchup. Just because we could just go Eerie Beam over and over again. We don't really need energies. So, I mean, overall, I think that this deck has some potential. Probably not realized potential yet, but as the metagame progresses into this Mew 3 Pika kind of metagame and Centiskorch gets pushed out, maybe we'll see players give up on ADPization, and then we could really see Orbeetle kind of squeeze its way through the cracks there. So let's try some games on the ladder, see how it goes. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go, but we're going to go with it. I feel like this deck has some options, and if you were looking for a Beetle deck, this is the one that gets my stamp of approval so far, at least in our current metagame. So let's jump into it. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for supporting my content. So we're going to call the coin flip here. We're going to call Tails. We lost the coin flip. I think our deck is actually a deck that probably wants to go first. I'm actually okay with this. Starting Snorlax isn't bad. Our hand isn't very good, but we'll see. It looks like our opponent's probably playing ADPization, so you can actually see how the matchup goes here. Maybe they'll just go Intrepid Sword, pass. Okay. So we got a Tag Call. Tag Call is going to allow us to go Guzmahala and Cynthia Caitlin. We can use Guzmahala to discard both Mimikyu and probably Bird Keeper. I think I'm okay with discarding both of those. And we're going to grab a Capture Energy. I mean, we have our 4/4 line there. That should be pretty okay enough in this matchup to make it work. Maybe I grabbed too much there. Let's just go Gourmandise here. Draw a couple more cards. And you can see that we have the Orbeetle VMAX. We have some other stuff going for us. Nothing crazy. Probably grabbed too many cards off the Guzmahala. Probably could have done without the U-turn board to draw one more card. Now, I don't know why our opponent put down a Mewtwo. Maybe they're playing I actually don't know what they'd be playing. So our opponent has like the World's deck box, but this kind of looks like it might be the ADP League Battle deck. I'm not entirely sure. Well, maybe they're just going to vibe into the Mewtwo because their hand sucks and they're going to go for Intrepid Sword. Or they're just trying to knock out our Orbeetle. Maybe it's going to be like a switch boss orders knockout on Orbeetle. It's definitely interesting. Yeah, this definitely looks like it's ADP-zation. And they even have resistance against this as well, which makes it pretty difficult. Gotta give our opponent the shocked face, because that is quite shocking. Let's see, we got the U-turn board back. And there's our Snorlax. Okay, cool. So let's go Cynthia Caitlin, discarding a boss orders. Let's try to draw some extra cards. Let's grab Bird Keeper. Bird Keeper seems pretty important. And we're just kind of stuck here. So you can see, like, this deck, it doesn't even matter what happened there. Our opponent kind of getting the consistency of the Zation. This deck's a little bit slower. So, I mean, could I toss some things away? Does it even make sense to get energy in play? Probably not. Just gonna pass. Give our opponent the grrr face. And they are a switch away from winning the game. So, a great intro to Orbeetle. Kind of what haunts this deck here. The Lieutenant Surge is also an interesting choice for our opponent's deck. I don't know. Maybe they play like double Leon or something to do something crazy with Brave Blade. Hit as high as 320. Oh, interesting. Well, we did get a Quick Ball, so that's cute. So let's go Quick Ball, discarding a Mallow Lana, which I don't think is going to be super playable for us. We're going to grab Orbeetle because that's what makes our deck tick. Let's go Bird Keeper into Orbeetle. Strafe isn't going to do anything. I might as well put this there. Let's reset stamp our opponent because their hand is quite large. Might as well just go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, too many cards. Strafe is going to do nothing. And we'll send up the Snorlax as the sauce. So you can see, we're struggling here. Our opponent might have another boss orders. I don't know what they have in their hands. We just got to vibe out here. They can use Brave Blade this turn, though, while they're in the active spots. So, if we're going to get a hand like this, at least it's not necessarily a bad matchup to get it. Yeah, this definitely seems like the ADP League deck. If I ever saw one, maybe they're just experimenting with it. There's their ADP. Not entirely sure how this deck looks like, but maybe they'll just go Brave Blade here. Maybe they'll go Retreat and go for, yeah. We can get a big attack off on our opponents, which might be interesting for us. I'm not entirely sure about that one. They have 3 prize cards left, so let's go for this here. Let's automatically get our energy. And since our hand kind of sucks, I'm gonna say that us using Marnie sounds pretty good. Actually, you wanna know what? Maybe us not using Marnie sounds good. Cynthia Caitlin for a boss sounds okay. So let's go Cynthia Caitlin. let's yeet this Orbeetle VMAX because we could probably just get another one. Let's go for a boss orders. Eerie Beam. G-Max Wave. Not enough for us to get the knockout, but our opponent might be struggling with the one switch of 4-card hands. It's hard to tell. We only have the one Pokemon in the active spot, so they might... Maybe they're... If they go for Altered Creation, I'm honestly kind of okay with that right now. We're gonna start bringing this game back, especially with like Lily's Pokédoll. They might not have a great way to... They already have their Mewtwo down. And you wanna know what? Them marking me? I'm cool with that. Okay, there's a Metal Saucer. Just gotta wait out here, see exactly what our opponent's doing. If they get an attack off this turn, I'd be pretty cheesed. But I think they're just going to go pass here. Or at least that's what I hope. I don't know how many copies of Switch this deck plays. Oh, they play Scoop Up Net. No, this is why the Scoop Up Net block... The Scoop Up block Mr. Mime would be very good. Okay, so they're going to Altered Creation. I'm also cool with this. We can put the Scoop Up block Mime down. We can go Quick Ball, discard Switch. Putting down another Orbeetle, so we can start doing some Orbeetle shenanigans. Let's go for a Marnie. I feel pretty okay with that. And we did get another Capture Energy. But I don't think there's much that we want to get out with this Capture Energy. I don't think there's really much left in this deck at all. So let's just hope that our opponent really can't get much going on. We'll discard our Snorlax just to get that out of our hands. Eerie Beam. Let's go for G-Max Wave. Not enough for the knockout, but I mean, we're getting closer to just knocking out our opponent's Pokemon. If they get Switch Boss orders, they win the game here. But I mean, our opponent could have put themselves in a position to win a game a few times over. Oh, I guess they could just hard retreat. Are they going to retreat? Maybe they're going to try to go Ultimate Ray. Oh, this Pokemon has 180 HP. Never mind. I'm so used to these Pokemon having 210. RIP! Let's try it another game. Okay, so let's see if we can start getting this one back into the grind. Will we be able to win a game with Orbeetle? If they let us go first, I know they're playing a Welder deck. Okay. This is not bad. Depending on what our opponent's playing. We'll start with the Orbeetle. Orbeetle, we have enough switching cards and stuff like that, where I think we're probably okay. I just think this new card, this new promo looks so cool for the Orbeetle. Orbeetle's just a cool looking Pokemon in general. So we're just not going to put those Pokemon down while we see what's going on. Playing against another Zacian deck, probably something we don't want to see. But they're just going Intrepid Sword. Not entirely sure what kind of deck they're playing. So if they're going, we don't need Mimikyu. We probably don't need the Mr. Mime either. Snorlax, Orbeetle, Bird Keeper. I don't know why I did that into that one. Maybe to draw more cards with Snorlax. Let's just say that. We'll reset stamp our opponents since they have a very large hand. Capture energy to get out another Orbeetle. Likely to do that. We do have 2 Orbeetle VMAX prized, which is going to be a little bit tight, but that's okay. Let's get out another one. You never know when we're going to draw a prize card. And let's go Gormandize, draw some cards. Feel okay about this. Nothing crazy. With our opponent playing Cherish Ball, they're probably playing ADP-zation. This is one of the most played decks, and especially after the League Battle deck came out, it's something we do have to, like, take note of. Okay, so let's go Turffield. Turffield's going to allow us to grab an Orbeetle. I don't know if we want to start doing damage with Orbeetle or anything like that. But we can put U-turn board there. Maybe we want to just draw some more cards. I think that sounds correct. Let's start doing some damage, though, with Orbeetle. Because we do have a lot of switching cards. Just because our opponent can gobble up those Orbeetle VMAX, or Orbeetle V at any given point. Actually, fine. Let's just build that in case they play Crushing Hammers. Eerie Beam. Beam, beam, beam. For 3. We're going to retreat. G-Max Wave would do 30 damage. Do we need to do 30 damage? Let's use Gormandize. Gormandize is probably the better call here. One thing that sucks is that this Pokemon has only 180 HP. If it had 190, it'd feel a lot better. Turffield will search us out an Orbeetle VMAX. Let's go ahead here and Bird Keeper into our Orbeetle Pokemon. Do this. Let's start spreading our damage with Eerie Beam. I don't know if Switch matters too much. We have another Eerie Beam. Let's go Capture Energy here. See any reason not to. We'll just vibe there. We'll put this down in play. We'll go G-Max Wave, start hurting our opponents. So, I mean, we'll knock out that ADP next turn. We just gotta keep on vibing with this Orbeetle. Okay. Healing wise, I'm actually fine with going Mallow Lana, discarding both Turffields. But we want to use Eerie Beam just so that we don't forget that at all. Let's go Mallow Lana here because drawing cards doesn't really matter when you're having this much fun. We'll get rid of the Orbeetle V. Discarding a Turffield as well. the healing there doesn't really matter because we still have 250 HP left, and you can see this Pokemon after ADP is going to do 260. But if our opponent tries to go for it, I mean, I feel pretty okay with it. We're going to go here. Let's go Eerie Beam. Might as well double check our deck here. Yeah, there's not really much else. And let's go G-Max Wave for a lot of damage. The Orbeetle VMAX is definitely a much welcome prize card. I think if our opponent goes for the knockout on either of our Orbeetle V or Orbeetle VMAX, we can just go Reset Stamp. If they go just for like a Brave Blade on the active, I feel very good about our chance of winning this game. I think our opponent losing their energies if they don't go like Metal Saucers or anything like that, things just seem pretty okay. And they just might like vibe out here. They might be a little bit worried about what's going on and just try to get built up. Okay, so let's go Eerie Beam. Evolve. Might as well put an energy here on this one. And I'm going to go Marnie. It sounds counterproductive to go Marnie, but our opponent has a fairly large hands. And I don't want to worry about it too much. So yeah, let's go ahead here and Marnie. Because we want to try to draw into a boss order before our opponent can do anything. Let's just go Retreat. Maybe we should draw some cards. How many Switch have we used? We've used 3 copies of Switch. Yeah, I don't feel very good about getting Switch out here. Tag Call seems like a meh card. We have access to Cynthia Caitlin's. Draw some cards out of our deck, I guess. And let's just go pass. Yeah. So the thing is, if our opponent goes for a knockout on this Orbeetle VMAX, that's rough for us. But if they aren't able to get a knockout, then we can just do some other things as well. Such as using Mallow Lana this turn, kind of preventing ourselves from losing the game. They're definitely looking for a boss's orders and a copy of Switch Air Balloon. I mean, they've already used 2 copies of Switch, so it might be a little bit awkward for them, but I think they're in a pretty good spot to like win this game. You can see that they're pretty pretty built up here. The extra energy there, I mean, we'll definitely take. There's an energy. Maybe they'll have an energy switch. If they're not able to find a boss, though, that could be huge. I mean, still, it might be huge for us. Tool Scrapper just puts it back into our hands. So there's 4 prize cards for them. We really want to find a reset stamp if that's possible. And the fact that we have Snorlax out in play probably hurts us a lot too. Let's go Orbeetle here. I'm just going to build up this one on the bench. Grass energy there seems fine. Our opponent probably has it, so let's just go with Marnie. Oh, the reset stamp's really cute there. I have no issues with that. Let's plug our bench up with Lily's Pokédoll. Go for a reset stamp. Hurt our opponent's chances of getting anything out this game. And just so we're clear about doing the mat, we're doing 200 damage minus 30, 170. So we're getting the knockout on the active with our benched Orbeetle VMAX. Treat, send up this home slice. Let's go Eerie Beam. Get some things set up to do some more damage, and let's go for G-Max Wave. So you can see this matchup's maybe not as bad as I originally thought, but it can get quite lengthy. And I mean, we're close. If they just have it, they have it. They might have the boss. Yeah. They had the Eldegoss in their hand. There's nothing we could do against the ADP deck. And our opponent's going to get the Brave Blade for the win. Oh no, we were so close to getting it. But it happens. I mean, it's a tough matchup. So we have this deck going a busted 0-2. It's one of those decks where, I mean, I wasn't having crazy expectations for this. Between poor starts, poorly positioned in the meta, I think Orbeetle VMAX needs a little bit more time to kind of sizzle, cook itself, figure out exactly where its list's at. I mean, we came close in the few games that we played. The first one, I mean, is a league battle deck and we lost. That should be a pretty, there should be some exclamation marks floating above your head. And really, in game 2, you saw that, like, we were really a turn away from winning the game, or maybe a couple turns away from winning the game. So the deck has some potential, it's just, your opponent has so much stuff in their control. First and foremost, this deck has some tough matchups, ADP being one of them, making it incredibly difficult. Second off, your opponent can scale how much energy they have in play. We have no way to add extra energy in play, do anything cool like that. So if you're not running into Mewtwo and Mew, or if you're not running into Colossal, this deck might be having a tough time. But let me know how you feel in the comments below. Maybe you've tested out Orbeetle and you're like, yo, Zach, yo, the Lone Blound, we got the most busted list ever. Here you go, link me in the comments. Maybe I'll try it and I'll be like, holy moly, I'm going to have to try this for the next Hexter event or the next Chill TCG event. So it's one of those things where, let me know how you feel about Orbeetle in the comments below. Be sure to give this video a like, a subscribe if you like Orbeetle as a Pokemon, or if you like any of the content that you watch on the channel so far. Feel free to check out the description for discount codes and to support me as a content creator. There's also the copy and pasteable version of this deck if you want to try out this monstrosity. Anyways, I gotta go dip because I got some chicken fingers in the toaster oven, but I'll be back next time. Have yourself a great one, and thank you again so much for watching. Peace out. Really hope that you enjoyed watching that video. I totally enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like the video, share the video with everyone that you know, and subscribe to the channel as well. Totally appreciate all the support. We got a lot of cool things happening on the channel, so stay tuned for more. Be sure to check out the social links in the description. Thanks and have yourself a great one.